Welcome and thank you for the opportunity to present today. This presentation is part of my MBA coursework on leadership and management at RMIT University. I'll be addressing 5 scenario-based questions as part of a simulated interview for a leadership role. My goal is to demonstrate how I've applied leadership theories and personal insights I've gained throughout this course to practical workplace scenarios. So let's get into slide 2. Throughout this course, I've been exposed to a wide range of leadership theories and concepts, including emotional intelligence, time management, servant leadership, paradoxical leadership, and innovative frameworks. Though reflective exercises, group activities, and mentoring, I've been able to identify my own leadership strengths and areas for growth. In today's presentation, I'll walk through how these insights translate into a practical leadership strategies and that I would apply in a professional context. So now let's get into slide number 3, which is about understanding leadership and self-insight. At the start of this course, I associated leadership primarily with authority and decision making. However, Goleman's emotional intelligence framework introduced a much deeper understanding. I learned that leadership starts with self-awareness and emotional regulation, being in tune with my own values and managing my reactions effectively. The tried focus helped me to understand that great leaders must balance inner focus on others, and the strategic awareness of external environment. My MBTI results and the self-awareness archetype model helped me realize I began this course as a seeker, someone who was unsure how they're perceived. By the end, I've become more aware, recognizing my leadership values and confidently seeking feedback. Now let's get into slide 4, which is about application of leadership growth. A pivotal aspect of my development came through mentoring. My mentor helped me understand how to lead with empathy and how to listen without trying to immediately solve problems, something I struggled with before. Through Persual, I practiced integrating others' views and engaging respectfully with contrasting opinions. I now feel more comfortable initiating difficult conversations and leading with both head and heart. This shift from a direct to collaborative leadership style has been transformative. Now I'd like to get into slide 5, which is about leading a diverse team. So diversity in teams is a strength, but it requires thoughtful leadership. Using MBTI, I can recognize personality-driven preferences, like how some team members might prefer structured deadlines while others need creative freedom. Drawing on Goleman's emotional intelligence, I would adapt my communication to resonate across personality types. I also found that servant leadership particularly relevant here. It's about empowering others, listening actively, and fostering inclusivity. As we learned in week 4, trust is built when leaders recognize contributions, communicate clearly, and show vulnerability. Now I'd like to get into slide 6, which is regarding inclusive team strategies. To lead a truly inclusive team, I would prioritize creating psychological safety where team members feel safe to speak up without fear of embarrassment or punishment. I would regularly engage in feedback loops, adjust team roles based on strengths and preferences, and remain culturally aware in my interactions. I've learned the importance of setting clear goals, but offering autonomy in how these goals are achieved. This mix of structure and flexibility supports both performance and personal well being. Now, I'd like to get into slide 7, which is about motivation and satisfaction of post pandemic, which is about question 3. Post pandemic, during the post pandemic, many employers feel disconnected and burned out. Adams' equity theory highlights how perceptions of fairness between effort and reward are essential for motivation. The job demands resources model taught me that to avoid burnout, I must balance workload with supportive resources like autonomy and development opportunities. Noria's four drivers for model, which is about acquire, bond, comprehend, and defend, explains the psychological needs that influence employee engagement, and these theories have helped me to develop a more holistic approach towards motivation. Now, about slide 8, which is about sustaining motivation. To put theory into practice, I would implement strategies like recognizing achievements, offering flexible work options, and facilitating career growth through stretch assignments and mentoring. Drawing from Quinn and Thakur's research, I understand that employees seek meaning, not just money. By aligning individual roles with organizational purpose through storytelling and strategic communication, I can help my team to see the value and impact of their work. This kind of purpose driven motivation is especially powerful in today's uncertain environment. Now, let's get into slide 9, which is about fostering innovation. So, innovation often fails not due to lack of ideas, but due to cognitive barriers. Week 8 introduced us to Blue Ocean Strategy, a model that encourages creating new markets instead of competing in the crowded ones. Avoiding red ocean traps like over-focusing on existing customers or tech-driven solutions is the key here. I'd also encourage the team to reframe problems creatively, like asking what's really bothering users rather than jumping to obvious fixes. Tools like generic parts technique help overcome functional fixedness and open the door to new solutions. Now I'd like to get into slide 10, which is about innovative strategies. Creating a psychologically safe space is the foundational for innovation. I would ensure all voices are heard and that failure is treated as a learning opportunity. While AI tools can support idea generation, they should be used as collaborations, not the main source. I would encourage the team to brainstorm without AI first, then refine ideas using these tools. This way, human creativity and digital support work hand in hand will make a great work. Finally, I would involve diverse perspectives in ideation sessions to challenge assumptions and strengthen outcomes. Now, I would like to get into slide 11, which is about future leadership development, which is about regarding question 5. So, one of the most impactful concepts for me was paradoxical leadership. It reminded me that effective leadership isn't about choosing between options, but integrating them. For example, being confident but humble, or executing current tasks while planning for the future strategies. The PwC paradox framework taught me to be a tech-savvy humanist, someone who understands both digital tools and emotional dynamics. I also found the competing values framework helpful in understanding the need to flex between difficult, different cultural roles, such as mentor, entrepreneur, and a strategist and a coordinator. Now I'd like to get into slide 12, which is about personal development plan. So going forward, my development plan includes joining leadership communities to expand my perspective, scheduling monthly feedback sessions to reflect and recalibrate, and continuing with peer mentoring to remain accountable. I aim to track my progress using journaling and digital self assessment tools. My goal is to build agility to respond to change without losing sight of values. I also want to strengthen my ability to influence upward, ensuring my ideas create value not just within the team, but across the organization. Now, about slide 13, which is about summary and my final message. To conclude, I've learned that leadership is less about being in charge and more about creating the conditions for others succeed. It requires emotional intelligence, cultural awareness, and strategic impact. And lastly, I would like to thank you for your time and consideration. And I welcome any questions that you may have. Now about slide 14, which is the last slide and which is about references. References about RMIT Harvard style. So here are the scholarly and course sources used in these presentations. And I've followed the RMIT Harvard's referencing style to acknowledge that all concepts and frameworks that informed my thinking. And lastly, again, thank you again for the opportunity to share my leadership journey. Thank you.